Do you have a dream, an invention you've thought of but you can't afford to create, or maybe a winning film concept? Well, the latest marketing craze is helping everyday people turn those dreams into reality.
Crowdfunding is a platform allowing people to pitch for donations to the general public and potential investors. Now, funding can be for anything, including community-based work, film projects, or the latest technology. One woman even raised money to have a baby.
After 12 years together, Sean and Jessica Haley were ready to start a family. But when they were told they only had a 1% chance of conceiving, IVF was the only option. Unable to pay for pricey fertility treatment, the couple turned to crowdfunding, asking strangers to contribute to their $5,000 goal. Their story touched so many people, they ultimately raised more than $8,000. They're now proud parents to son Landon. The Haleys aren't the only ones harnessing people power online. In fact, the online craze seems to have found something for everyone. Doctor Who enthusiasts managed to raise over $80,000 to send a TARDIS into space.
What we are putting into space, TARDIS.
Award-winning actor James Franco has joined the movement in order to finance an upcoming film.
Join this adventure with us. There are lots of great things that we are happy to give back in return. We hope that you'll join us and join us on this adventure.
He says he couldn't afford to fund his projects without the support of investors. Even our politicians have found themselves targets of crowdfunding.
You want to get to know someone, but the words just aren't coming. This is Flip 52, a simple and fun way to flip an awkward date to a good one.
A campaign to create an ad supporting the National Broadband Network had a target of $15,000.
If you can help contribute funding for a national campaign for fibre to the premise, we know that we can deliver the message to the government loud and clear.
Still 5 days away from closing, and online bidders have raised nearly $60,000.
Hey, oh, hang on, we've got to introduce you before you start talking, otherwise people get confused. That's Alan Crabb. He's the co-founder of crowdfunding site Possible, and marketing expert Matthew Bywater is in LA. Good morning to you both. Hello there, Alan. We just had a little glimpse of who you are and what you're talking about. How does this work, this crowdfunding concept?
So crowdfunding is really about taking a pitch of an idea or a project and really, I suppose, selling it to the world. And platforms like Possible are set up to allow people to use the tools, use their social network and use video to pitch that idea and pre-sell anything that's connected to that project.
Okay, so did you ever in a million years think it would be used to raise money for IVF so that a couple could have a baby?
To be honest, no, I had never imagined this would be ever used for this kind of purpose. But
and I think that's one of the most beautiful causes ever. Far more, exciting than a film or something else. Like, I think that's beautiful.
Exactly. I think it's tending to move from more of the creative into a more community-based kind of projects, and where you're seeing people that are really inspired by what's by people's story and people's ideas.
Hey, Matthew, what are the downsides of crowdfunding? It seems on the face of it quite successful. It seems people want a piece of the action, want to be involved in this sort of thing.
Yeah, it's become very successful actually. It's about a $2.5 billion industry right now, which is, in US terms, it's about 1/4 of the market. So it's massive. It's become massive in no time. Probably the biggest downside, though, is for a lot of businesses is the actual lack of traditional venture capitalists. The venture capitalists normally are very good at actually analysing a business, giving a really sort of vigorous, rigorous sort of run through of the business plan, making sure the entrepreneur has actually gone through and tested every facet of the product to make sure it actually is ready for market and there is actually a market for it. So that's the downside of perhaps crowdfunding this way.
Okay, Alan, if somebody has what they think is a brilliant idea...
And I do.
and they want to get up a crowdfunding campaign, what are some tips?
The key tips that I suggest to people is, firstly, tell your story and tell the story of the project. What inspired you to come up with this idea? Yeah. And to really inspire other people. Other things that we look to advise people is try to be transparent with what you're doing, and always be open to, I suppose, engage other people throughout the process. So keep the conversation very much open. We work on a reward-based model, so you have to provide a reward or incentive to get on board. And it's also very valuable to provide really great incentives and great rewards to get people excited about the project. So.
Good tips.
How do I know that if I'm going to donate to what I think is a great cause, then they're going to take the $8,000 and spend it on the blackjack table?
Well, I think the model itself, because you're really engaging a community of people, these are people that are maybe even involved in your own networks or even your own connections.
Okay.
And
so try and keep it a little bit close to home too.
Well,
know the person.
I think if people are involved and they're in your connection, in your network, you do tend to be a bit more responsible.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alan, and thank you, Matthew. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Kylie, for blowing my blackjack fundraising campaign.
I'm just asking the hard questions, Larry.
Well, that's what I plan to raise money for. Anyway, not important now. Just ahead, Rihanna's latest row. Find out who the pop star has put off this time.